Hey guys, welcome back to yet another episode on the Balfour 29 scratch build. This is part 6. This is part 6. And we're going to be continuing doing the finishing touches on the fuselage. This one is going to be basically the tail section. We've got the fins stabilizers were done. Vertical stabilizers were done on the previous video, and today we're going to start sorting out setting up the actual vertical stabilizer and how we're going to do that. Now, a few things that I need to explain to you. Normally I would do these videos in one, maybe two videos, and they're normally quite long. Obviously those of you that have been following me know that my health isn't exactly great at the moment. So that's why I've been sort of like restricting the amount of time I work on the model and putting together like videos that are around about half an hour long, something like that. I mean, if you put together everything that I've done so far, you're looking at probably around about 2.5 hours of videos already. But this is over a period of 2 weeks, maybe 3 nearly. I've been working on this model now. So yeah. There's a lot to do, but that's the reason why I'm doing the videos in short periods instead of like really long ones. Anyway, like I say, what we're going to be doing today is sorting out the vertical fin. I've got this here now. Don't forget, all this is going to be fiberglassed. So even though I'm sticking pieces on here, they're going to be fiberglassed as one piece when finished. Apart from this here. Now this section here, you can see has got a plywood plate on it, and I'm going to be fiberglassing this plywood plate onto this piece here, as well as onto the actual boom, like so. And the reason for that is that once the section, because this section here is going to be cut off, which will be what goes over the tail rotor once the mechanics are fitted, sort of thing. So this section will probably be cut about here. And then once it's all fiberglassed, that is, and then it'll all be hollowed out the same as this will all be hollowed out as well, but the fiberglass will have this piece of plywood stuck to it then. And then what I'll do is I'll drill the holes for the actual vertical fin, which is going to have a plywood plate on the inside, and there'll be a plywood plate on the outside here. And then I'll have 2 bolts that will go in, and then I'll have locking nuts which will be epoxied in on the other side of this piece of wood basically. So when I screw the vertical fin on, it'll be held in place by locking nuts. So I'm going to start putting all that together, and then I can start looking at sort of like assembling this piece here, like I say, which is going to need plywood putting into it as well, and I need a plywood sheet on the back of here for the screws to bite into. I might be able to get away with it biting on the fiberglass on its own, but it all depends. But I'd soon have some plywood to reinforce this section here where the bolts are going to go through. So let's get on with it, shall we? Right guys, I'm going to do this in real time, just so that I can talk to you while I'm doing it. So I'm just going to stick this in with you, Paul. The reason I'm doing that is because A, it's quicker, and B, this is going to be fiberglassed over as well, so it doesn't really make a difference what glue I use, because all I'm wanting is for it to be kind of just held in place. I will go over the top surface or both surfaces of this again with wood glue as well. I've already gone over it once, which is why it sounds like gravel, because it's soaked into the foam with it being sanded. I will be sanding it down smoother and giving it another coat so it comes out like the rest of the fuselage, because I don't want it to be porous, whatever they call it, so that the epoxy soaks into it. I don't really want that, to be honest with you. Anybody who's never used Yoo-Hoo Pour before, anybody in the modelling community that's never used Yoo-Hoo Pour, where you've been all your life, Yoo-hoo Pour is a foam safe contact adhesive that is used quite a lot when it comes to building foam models. The reason, like I say, why people use it is because it's good to repair foam. It dissolves, it doesn't dissolve foam or anything like that, but you can also use it to stick other things as well, like, you know, wood to wood, foam to wood, foam to foam, all that kind of malarkey. And the best way I find of using it, especially in situations like this, is that you coat both surfaces with the glue and then leave it for a couple of minutes for it to go tacky. The longer you leave it depends on how warm it is. I mean, if it's quite warm, whatever workshop it is you're working in, it doesn't take long, but I can leave it sometimes for 5 minutes and it'll work. So while they're going and setting, I'm going to stick this on. Again, it's only going to be stuck on with Yoo-hoo Pour because all this is going to be hollowed out once it's fiberglass. That's something I need to mention as well. I think a lot of you are getting the impression that I am building this as a plug to make a fiberglass mould. I'm not. I'm actually making this is a mould, yes, but then I'm going to be fiberglassing over the top of it, getting the finish that I want, and then all this foam will be ripped out basically, or heat gunned out, or melted out, whatever you want to say. A few will probably say, well, it's a bit of a waste of a plug, why don't you just make a mould? I probably will do in the future, but for now I just want to see how making a fuselage like this comes out with it being fiberglassed. I want to see if it is a way of making a mould and fiberglassing over the top of it and ripping it all out to leave a fiberglass shell. Now, if it works, brilliant. If it doesn't, well, this video has been a waste of time, isn't it, really? But I don't see any reason why it shouldn't. But once it works and I've got this mould done, at least I know what I can do in the future if I want to make something like this again. But as a mould, I know how I can do it. And that'll be the next process. Making another fuselage the same way, possibly out of a complete big block of foam, sanding it to shape, getting it all nice and smooth, putting all the detail onto it and God knows what, and then making a fiberglass mould from it. And that way then, if ever I want to make another mould for another fuselage, I can do. So that's all this is for at the moment. So anyway, that's why this is just going to be stuck on like so, because it's going to be melted out. Now, like I said to you before, this plywood piece on here, once a fiberglass has been put all over it, I'll put fiberglass over the top of this as well. But once it's all set and everything's sanded down, it's going to leave this plywood plug, I suppose you can call it, inside, even though all this bit will be melted out, inside the fiberglass. And then I will epoxy two lock nuts, nylock nuts, whatever you want to call them, onto the plywood. Is that in the shot? I don't think it is it? Hang on a minute, let's just pull you up. There we go. All this will all be melted out. So basically, when it comes to having all the foam melted out, this plywood plate here will be left in place, which is what the vertical stabiliser will be sticking to. Yada yada yada. Yeah. This will also have a hole drilled in the middle of it as well to allow the wires to come through for the nav lights, in theory. Yeah. Right. Let that go off. And while that's going off, this should be done. See, that's touch dry. Still a little bit tacky, but I did put it on quite thick. That side's done. You can speed up the process by blowing on it or wafting it. So now this only needs to be placed into here like so, because like I say, that bit will be screwed onto there, or bolted on I should say eventually, so it'll make it removable. That's stuck down there quite nice. Flip it over and do the other side. I really need to get a seat to sit on because my back's killing me on this table. Now it's not thick plywood this, it's just 1/64 ply. Again, because the fiberglass is going to be going over the top of it, it'll be enough to hold it in place, but it's just to stop the screws from pushing in to the fiberglass basically. Could have gone a bit thicker, but we'll see what happens. So let that settle down like so. Now what else I'm going to do while I'm here, you can probably see on the top of there I've marked where the top nav light goes. There's also another one at the back here as well, so that's going to be cut out eventually, and the top nav light will be coming out the top of there. So I'm going to make a channel now on the inside, not on the outside, on the inside. Let's just put some tape over that because it keeps trying to spring up. Also, this blue tape has been a lifesaver. It is awesome. It is a low tack masking tape, but I'm finding it brilliant for holding stuff like this in place. Might as well put some over the top of that as well while I'm at it. You can get it from Amazon, guys. Just go onto Amazon and put in low tack masking tape and you'll see it. You can't miss it because it's blue. Right, now that there is the, where is it? That's the middle there. Oh, not working. Doesn't matter. So that's the top light. Just go at the back, doesn't it? Yeah. That's the top light there. So I need to have the cable come to there. So all I'm going to do now is get my where? So I only need a straight edge because all I'm doing is just going straight up. I'm not going to go right the way through because if I do, that wouldn't be complicated. So I'm just going to push down. That blade's shit. Bear with. Let's just. That's better. I'm not going to go all the way through. I'm only going to go down probably about 1/8 of an inch, something like that. Purely and simply because it's only holding wire. I need a new blade. Let's do that again. But on this side now, where is it? I can just see it through there. Like so. And do it again. It's just like having the channels that you get like in your free wing models and flight line models where they run wires up the wings to, you know, to nav lights. It's just the same sort of thing. It's just creating a channel. And then I'm going to get my surgical knife. Just cut that. And then, can you see this, what I'm doing? Actually, it'd probably be better off using that end. No, that end. Oops, I poked myself in the eye then. Get off. Golly, my back's killing me. Come on. Oops. All I'm going to do with this, once the wire is run through it, I'm either going to make a very thin piece of wood to go over the top to hold it in place, or I may just put a piece of foam back over the top, make it all smooth, sand it all smooth, and then just lay a piece of masking tape over the top, electrical tape, sorry, over the top. And that way then, if I need to replace the wiring, I can, oh God, me back. If I need to replace the wiring, I can just scrape the foam bit out again. Whew. Right. Clear up my crap. Oh, right. That other piece here should be dry now. So grab that, squat my arse down so I can get it level. Oh. And then place it in stick. Perfecto. Okie dokie. Right. Then this bit obviously will be bolted onto here, like so. Right. Now another thing that I've done, actually, let's just get, oh my lord. Where you gone? There it is. Oh. Somebody once commented on Facebook, somebody was asking about a BAL 230 and how to go about making it cheap, on a cheap basis. And I built a BAL 230 probably about 6 months prior to that from an old Grant Heim BAL 230 kit, and I converted it to electric and fitted a T-Rex 700 in it. And I did it basically what you see me do here. I did it like as cheaply as possible and, you know, as good as possible, and it came out awesome. And I mean awesome. It looked brilliant with tracks on it, really bright nav lights, a nice vibrant yellow scheme. The video is on this channel, so if you want to go and see it, go and take a look at it. And somebody commented on Facebook about to the guy that was asking about one, that my methods were crude. Well, in your face. Because, yes, they may be crude, but as long as they work, who gives a shit, hey? Yeah, but this is what I like doing about this hobby. It gives you the ability to do things how you want, try out new things, and as far as I'm concerned, if it works, brilliant. I've never had a failure yet, let's put it that way. I'll tell a lie, I did, with a Roban 470 size Huey. What a piece of dog shit that was. Never ever buy one of those, guys. Right, now, while that's going off, you can see here, I've got some 332nd balsa, and that's because I'm making the vertical fins that go on the stabilisers out of balsa wood, because I did originally cut them out of this, as you probably saw in my other videos, but it's too thick. They're not really that thick, so I didn't want it to look stupid. So I've basically used these as a template, and and now I'm going to cut these out and make them out of balsa wood instead. Again, they'll still be fiberglass. Where's my small ruler? Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, so I'm going to make these out of, like I say, 3/32 balsa instead, and they'll probably be a little bit stronger, to be honest with you, once they're glassed. I mean, I could have made them out of plywood, but that's overkill, because like I say, the fiberglass will stiffen them up anyway. I sounded like an Australian then when I was talking. How Australians talk, they always talk with a higher note at the end of the sentence. But yeah, so I'm going to use this to make the origami. That's it. Let's tell you a little about myself, shall we, while I'm doing this. I am 56 years of age. I have been building and flying model aircraft since I was about knee high to a grasshopper. And I ain't kidding you, when you've been building and flying models that long, you don't realise how much money it accumulates, how much money you spend on stuff like this. I bet you if I work out everything that I've bought, built, crashed, rebuilt, crashed again, and whatnot, all the kits that I've bought, all the electronic stuff I bought, I bet it'll pay probably somewhere in the region of about 20-25 grand over the past 45 years or plus, whatever it is, more than 46 years. You'd be surprised how much it costs. Let's turn that the other way, because if I don't, it's going to split. Yeah, I used to be a driver. That was my job. And then, as some of you will know, a couple of years ago I had 2 quite bad heart attacks. Fortunately they didn't see me off, but they were bad enough for me to change my way of life. And I've now got what they call ischemic heart disease, where my arteries struggle to get blood flow to the heart. So fortunately I'm not working at the moment because of it. I struggle to do this at times. Building these things, I can only go a certain time and I have to quit. I mean, you may hear it in my voice where I'm talking to you that it's a bit croaky and wheezy, and that's all part and parcel of this crap that I'm going through at the moment. But hey ho, no sympathy, Bo. But yeah, I've been doing this for a long time, but I've only been flying helicopters for about 3.5 years, something like that. But I've always been into scale, I've always liked scale. Don't get me wrong, I've got sport helicopters, or I've had sport helicopters, I've had Spectres, T-Rex models, mainly T-Rex I've bought, but I've had Spectres as well, Blades. I've had Roban scale helicopters, small ones. I've always wanted to get myself a big 600 or 700 size Roban, and hopefully at some point in the future I will, which will be another great video, because you don't see many build videos on YouTube for Roban kits. I don't know why, I really don't. I mean, there's only one person that I don't need that bit, you twat. There's only one video that I've seen that's like a build video, but even that was crap, you know. Didn't go into much detail, or I like to go into a lot of detail. Okay, so that's them done now. So I'm going to give these a sanding down, and I'm completely bollocksed now, so I'm going to need to take a break, guys. So when you come back, I don't know, we'll have to do something else, shall we? What can we do? What needs to be done? I need to make the skids, don't I? can't remember if I did a video on how to make skids before, because I did make some skids for the, what was it for? My Huey. I made some skids for the Huey and they come out really well. Out of aluminium tubing. And that's what I'm going to be doing with this. Making them out of 10mm and 8mm tubing. As I showed you in one of the previous videos, I already 3D printed out the T-sections that hold them together. So I might show you the process of making the skids, or I may just make them and tell you how I've done them afterwards, because it does take a bit of time. I mean, it'd be a video on its own doing something like that. So I'm going to have me a break, guys. I'll probably continue with this tomorrow, so I'll see you in a bit. Right, gang, I'm going to attempt to do some fiberglassing. I say attempt because I'm feeling pretty shit at the moment, but I've got to get it done because I'm trying to get it done for a scale heli event that's coming up in the next couple of months. So anyway, what I've got here, I've got my 2 vertical stabilizers that go on the stabilizer and the actual stabilizers themselves. Now I know the wood's going to be pretty much okay. These have all been coated with wood glue to seal them up, but I'm going to basically wet coat all the items, starting off with the wooden fins, and then I'm going to lay 1 layer of fiberglass over the top, which is that thin. It's transparent, which is good fiberglass. Wet it out, and then I'm going to lay 1 over that piece, and then I'm going to wet that out and lay 1 over that piece, and I'm going to come back to this and lay another piece and then another piece. So I'm effectively going to have 2 pieces of that thickness on the top and bottoms of these surfaces. Now, before I go anywhere, I've got to do it because safety first and all that shit. Right, this is the stuff that I'm using. This is West Systems epoxy resin, 105 and 205 hardener. They've got the plungers on, and it makes it easier because for the epoxy it's a 5-to-1 mix, and with these plungers I only have to press the plungers down once, so I'll get 5 parts with 1 plunge on the resin and 1 part of hardener with the hardener, and then give it a good mix. But make sure when you do something like this you're really prepared and ready for it. So I've got a pair of hand condoms to put on, and especially with my health being the way that it is, I've got my respirator, which is an essential because this stuff stinks. So yeah, try and keep it tidy, try and keep it safe. It's a 20-minute epoxy, but it should give me enough time to wet out and put the first 2 layers of fiberglass on. Polythene, can you see the polythene? I've stuck the polythene down, so hopefully it'll be a bit easier to pull them off once the fiberglass is set-ish. But I'll be trimming it when the glass is green, when the fiberglass is green, which means they're not hard and it's soft enough for me to get a knife and trim it all off before it goes hard. So here we go, time-lapse emoji poo. I forgot this thing. Right, I'm going to be putting the fiberglass on with a brush, and then I'm going to be scraping the worst of it out with an old driver's card that I've got, and then I'll be mixing it in this. Obviously I'm not going to do it in that order because I can't do that or that until I've mixed with that. And this is what I'm using to mix it with. It's a 3/8 of an inch wooden dowel, Wingardium Leviosa. No, I was hoping it would pre-do it for me. But yeah, so again, make sure you get all your tools ready because this stuff cures quick and I don't want it to go off before I finish laying the fiberglass on. Now, I'm only starting with these bits here, which are the smallest bits of the foam, because I don't know how they're going to react to the epoxy. I may put all the fiberglass on and then come back to it and find a puddle of foam, because I'm guessing there's going to be a chemical heat reaction between the epoxy resin and hardener, and I'm wondering whether it's going to be that warm it'll melt these. So this is going to be a test. If it is, then this whole project is snafu, because all of that helicopter over there is made of foam. Wish me luck. Right guys, I can confirm that this is a seriously messy job, but we've got the fiberglass on. Now these aren't fully cured yet. You usually have about 20 minutes of work time with fiberglass, and this has been done now for probably about an hour. And it's touchable, but it's still very, you can hear that it's quite sticky still, but I'm able to touch the fiberglass quickly and press down like the edges and whatnot. Whether or not they'll stay that way, I don't know, but I'm able to cut the worst of the fiberglass off, and yeah, I'm quite happy with them, to be fair. So I'm going to let them set, and hopefully everything is all nice and dry, or will be soon, and then I can flip them over and start the other side. But that one's going to be for another video, guys, because I'm guessing this is probably already about half an hour long. So yeah, the fiberglassing stage is starting. It is bloody messy. It really is messy. So definitely wear the gloves. The odour's not too bad. I mean, once I finished like putting the fiberglass on, I took my mask off and I couldn't smell anything. So whether this epoxy is an odourless one or what, I don't know. The hardness stinks big time, but when they're mixed together, there's hardly any smell at all. But I'm still going to wear a mask either way. So yeah, first side of these parts are done in 2 layers. I'm going to let them go off. I'm going to see how they come out. There's been no heat transfer whatsoever, so all the foam protected with the wood glue and whatnot, none of it is warped, none of it is bent, buckled, melted. So what I did worked, which is great. And as you all know, my methods are crude apparently, but yeah, it works. So happy days. Next video we will do more fiberglassing, and hopefully the more I do, the better I'll get with it. You just never know, do you really? But I'm quite happy with those. I mean, they're coming out the way that I want them to. Whether or not I need to put any more fiberglass on, we'll find out once these have gone off hard and feel how the wood is. These were quite flexible, these pieces here, because of the grain. So I want to see how flexible they are with just one side coated in 2 layers of the fiberglass that I'm using at the moment. Obviously I will do the other side. but then it'll dictate to me as to how much fiberglass I'm going to need for these kind of parts. Obviously the bigger bits like the fuselage and whatnot, that is going to have the thicker weave on, with a medium weave and then a fine weave on top with the peel ply. Yeah, so let's keep our fingers crossed, guys. Thanks for watching. I know it's a bit of a short one, this one, not much has been done. I've been yakking in most of it and whatnot, but it's still progress. It's coming along with this biggish helicopter, 600 size. It's not that big, but hey, happy days. It's been a scratch build that I'm enjoying. Hope you're enjoying it. Click the old like, subscribe and hit the notification bell for more content on this, and I will see you in the next video, which hopefully won't be very long depending on how my heart goes. Wingardium Leviosa.